Hello, everyone, and welcome to Transatlantic Watch Party, a podcast in which Dan in Canada and myself, Cara, in the UK, watch a movie separately and get together to discuss it. And this week, we are discussing the 1976 Best Picture Oscar winner, Rocky, directed by John G. Avildsen and starring and written by Sylvester Stallone, and also starring Talia Shire, Burt Young, Carl Weathers, and from Santa Claus the movie, Burgess Meredith.
Although this predated that. This came before Santa Claus the movie. We'll just say this. Okay, so the overview. Rocky Balboa, a small-time boxer from working-class Philadelphia, is arbitrarily chosen to take on the reigning world heavyweight champion Apollo Creed when the undefeated fighter's scheduled opponent is injured. While training with feisty former bantamweight contender Mickey, Rocky tentatively begins a relationship with Adrian, the wallflower sister of his meat packer pal Paulie.
His name is Sylvester Stallone. He's the star of a new film called Rocky. He's been described as tough, handsome, talented, sexy, sensitive, dynamic, brilliant. He's been compared to Nicholson, De Niro, and Brando, but he is Rocky. He's the man who could be loved by only one woman because somehow she gets beneath the pain. He's every nobody who ever needed somebody.
Rocky, do you believe that America is the land of opportunity?
Yeah.
I'll break both your arms so they don't work for you.
He's every man who ever settled for something less.
What about my pride, Nick? At least you have pride. I ain't had no pride. I ain't had enough. I want to get that. I want to get that.
Terrific. I mean, you're going to be a heartbreak. You walk down the street breaking hearts the way you're looking. Very sharp.
He's the man who never had a chance until now. Rocky. His whole life was 1,000,000-to-1 shot. His name is Sylvester Stallone, but you will always remember him as Rocky.
And this was your first time seeing it, right? You've never seen this movie before.
Yes.
So, overall thoughts, what did you think?
I'm going to be mildly controversial, I think. I was not really enjoying it until they went on their first date.
Oh.
I was feeling a little bit like this script kind of feels like it was written by a 14-year-old. Then I read that he wrote it in 3.5 days, and I was like, that makes more sense. Then I read that it went through a lot of rewrites, and I went, that makes slightly less sense. But I really did enjoy who Rocky was. I thought he was a fantastic character. And so I was very invested in him. I thought he was kind of adorable.
He is. You're right. He absolutely is. I mean, you're right about him being a great character. That's what struck me this time around. I've seen this movie many times, by the way. Like this big lots of nostalgia for me watching this. My uncle loved these movies, and he had them all taped off of TV because he had like the Canadian. He had our movie channel called Super Channel back in the day, and he would just tape these as they would show them on TV, and so he'd watch them over and over again. But yeah, great character. I like all the actors are great characters. Every single one of these of the main characters. Even Mr. What was his name of the guy he's working for?
Grazzo.
Like I like the guy. I like him. I like the guy who drives his car.
Oh, the guy who drives his car should win an Oscar.
Like there's so many little like things in this. I love it. I have to say, I love the first half hour of this movie. I just watch this going, this is so like just so relaxed. I'm like, okay, we're just following Rocky around in his life, learning about him and where he's going. It felt really realistic, and it felt just authentic to me. That's what I felt.
What I would like to point out there then is when we watched Ladder 49, I said I enjoyed it because it was just people doing people things.
Oh.
And you were like, I don't really like films like that. And yet this is exactly what, I mean, most of this film is just people doing people things.
That's true.
You know, the final fight is like 10 minutes, you know, of the feels like 10 to 15 minutes of it. That's it. The rest of it is just kind of a character exploration of Rocky.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess, and you're right, absolutely pointing out what a hypocrite I am. But I have to say, I think maybe why I like this one is because like when it's people doing people things that I'm not familiar with, or it's like a part of the world I've never been to, and this is like really a specific part of Philadelphia that clearly he's familiar with. Like that part is like, okay, this is like kind of inner city type of like lower income families and that kind of stuff. Um, I just love it. I don't know, and maybe it is nostalgia that makes me feel that way for it.
I would say, looking at like reviews of it and how other people feel about it, and the fact that it consistently comes in at like, top 5 of sports movies and all that sort of stuff, I don't think it's just a nostalgia thing. I think people do genuinely appreciate this movie for what it is. I just think there was something about it that made me think of Good Will Hunting.
Okay.
I think for obvious reasons. And there are parts of Good Will Hunting that make me feel a little like, it just feels a little like we wrote a script for ourselves. And
that's what they did though, right?
And that's what they did. Yeah, absolutely. And Sylvester Stallone did the same thing. But he is utterly endearing. He's this boxer who falls in love with the nerdy girl from the pet shop and practices talking to her in his mirror. Like, he's a boxer and an enforcer. He works for a gangster and he practices talking to the nerdy girl. And he says to her, like, I'm going to go home and make up another joke and tell it to you tomorrow. He's such a loser. I love him.
Hey, your old man did pretty good tonight. Why weren't you there, huh? You should have seen me. You guys hungry? No? Here you go. Here you go. You want to see your friend Moby Dick, huh? How you doing, Moby Dick? You miss me today or what? Huh? Huh? Here you go, say hi. If you guys could sing or dance, I wouldn't be doing this,
You can tell he's actually tried to make it as a boxer, right? He's been spending, it's like 10 years. He says he's been at that gym for 6 years, but it's the last 10 years he's been spending trying to make a go of this and then trying to become a professional boxer. And so in the meantime, his side job is, and I totally forgot about this part of the movie, his side job is being like a goon, collecting debts, gambling debts from like the local mob guy, Mr. Guts or whatever his name is. It's an interesting character because it's like he goes from that, like, and he doesn't really break the guy's thumbs. I know he doesn't break he's threatening to break the guy's thumb. So the guy,
No,
right?
He's a bad collector. He's a bad enforcer.
He's not mean enough, right? Yeah.
Because he's logical. He says to the guy, I know we've already gone way off the script that you said, maybe, but he says to the guy, if I broke his thumb, he wouldn't be able to work. And then if he's not working, he wouldn't get any money and he wouldn't be able to pay you. So it didn't make any sense, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I guess. But I think it's because he really doesn't want to break anybody's thumbs. He's too nice.
No, he's just a sweet guy.
Okay, let's start at the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning of the plot.
So yeah, let's start at what is not the beginning of the film, but what is the crux of the film.
Right, because this is actually just half an hour in. After they've gone through all the dating stuff that we've already kind of talked about.
Yeah, like the reason the film exists, shall we say, is that Apollo Creed is due to defend his heavyweight crown in Philadelphia, but his opponent breaks his hand, leaving him searching for a last-minute replacement. So yeah, I was struck by the fact that we didn't meet Apollo Creed or have any idea this was, going to be where the story went for like half an hour. That was very funny to me. That was great. Also, Apollo Creed, because we skipped over our character descriptions. Right. Apollo Creed is such a showman. We see it at the end, but we see it at the beginning when he's we see him on the TV when Rocky goes to the bar, and he is like, dressed to the nines. This is a cool. He's a cool cat, this man, and he says something absolutely brilliant. They say, "Have you got any advice for the young kids And he's like, stay in school. Sport makes you grunt and smell. Be a thinker, not a stinker. And he just walks off. Absolutely, absolutely magnificent. I was in love with him from that moment.
That's a good one.
And also, I was struck by how boxing is a weird sport. Like, this is his chance to regain his title, to keep his title.
Mhm.
And his opponent drops out. Like, what other sport does this happen in? Where they just go, oh, well, just get someone else in who could be world champion. Like,
Right.
every other sport I know, you have to like go through leagues and semi-finals and stuff. Boxing is odd.
Was it still like this, or was it just like this back then?
I don't know, because I don't
I
watch
don't know enough about
boxing.
boxing either, but you're right, absolutely right, because like you think there would be a person, like a ranked list of contenders, right? That would be like, okay, we go to the next guy now. We're not going to just pick from a random, because what they're doing in the scene. And by the way, the first again, this Wikipedia thing I've got here, it completely skips the first half hour, because the first half hour is just introduction to Rocky, introduction to all the people in his life, right? Like,
Yeah, it does that in the next bit. It's like, meanwhile, he's falling in love with Adrian. Yeah, it's a very weird way of putting it.
Creed selects Rocky Balboa, an Italian-American journeyman. He selects him on his name alone, and that's it. That's what he does. It's like he just likes the name. The Italian Stallion is his nickname, and he's going through, like, I assume is a book of registered boxers. Like, they're just kind of scanning through the book. Boxers in Philadelphia. Maybe there's a rule about how it has to be a same boxer from the same city as the challenger was. Maybe that's part of it. No,
I don't even know that they even have to fight in a place where one of them is from. So I don't think that counts. And you do see them. He says, I want to fight someone who's like top 10. So he is talking about ranked. But then, like, the person who's number 2 is fighting someone else, so he can't do it. The person who's number 5 is in his current not in shape form, as boxers do. They're like in shape, and then they're not in shape, and then they're in, So he says he can't get in shape quickly enough.
Right.
And so Creed's decision is, then let's make this like the land of the American dream and pick a nobody.
right. And you're right. And he's all about the show of it. He's trying to put on a show for people. He wants to make it inspirational, tied into the bicentennial and the celebration of the American I can't remember the name of the person that was suggested. He's like, no, I don't feel no heat off that name. Like, I don't feel anything off that name. Like, and I'm like, really? And this guy's like making a good point. I'm like, this guy's a contender. And he's like, no, I don't feel any heat. So then he goes to the Italian Stallion. Yeah, that's it. And it's just the name alone is all he cares about. He just wants it to be a show. So they approach Rocky, and they do it in a weird way where they just go to the gym where he's been working. And by the way, at the beginning of the movie, there was a scene where he gets kicked out of his locker. I think that's an important scene because it means something later on.
That is so important. Yeah, like,
right?
he's never going to get over that.
Yeah, it was very insulting. It was like, and I thought maybe it was a money thing, like he hadn't paid for the locker or something like that. I thought maybe like he had let it go, but no, it was just like, this boxer is more of a contender than you are. Like Mickey is in control of that gym's like hierarchy of lockers and hooks, and it's like a disgrace to be banished to the hook. His stuff's in a bag on the hook with like a couple other bags there. And he's just so ashamed of that, right? And he's still pissed off when Mickey comes up to him later. They show up at the gym. They tell Mickey says he wants you for a sparring partner, which I think was interesting. So Mickey's already misunderstanding what this thing is about. They probably didn't say that when they showed up. They're just looking for Rocky because Creed wants to fight Rocky, and Mickey's assuming it's a sparring thing, right? Mickey doesn't think they want to fight Rocky. Why would they want to fight Rocky? So then Rocky goes in and meets with the promoter. To discuss the thing, and he's like, yeah, I'd like to be an honor to spar with Apollo Creed. I'm gonna not try and do that too much during but he's just so, like, I have to say, this is probably Sylvester Stallone's best performance. Like, yeah. I can't think of a better one that he's done. It's just so well done, and it's the only thing that fits his voice the way this does. You know what I mean? Okay, so they say yes, he's gonna do it. He's gonna be the challenger. He gets $150,000, and nobody expects him to win. Yeah, right? That was pretty much that. Like, we see this montage of news and sports, commentators, whatever, saying that like the Vegas odds are stacked against him. He's not going to last 3 rounds. And even they talk about him being a southpaw as well, which is another thing. He's a southpaw, which means he punches with his left hand, and it's his dominant hand. And they're like, I don't know if we want to mess up with the southpaw. And Apollo Creed's like, southpaw, nothing. I'll take him in 3 rounds. And so they're so very overconfident that he's going to win, and nobody thinks Rocky's going to win. And Rocky's just kind of happy to be asked, right? He's not like, really
I mean, he says no first.
Oh, he's not occasionally. Yeah, great.
He's kind of like too respectful. You know, he's like, I can't. That's sort of bringing the sport into disrepute. Do you know what I mean?
That's right.
He's very respectful of the sport. He loves the sport. And also, I don't know if that meeting mentioned the money, because I only picked up on the money when you see him on the TV when he's watching the TV with Adrian and Paulie, and they're like, it's $150,000, and I was like, oh, sorry, guys, wow.
It's a lot of money, especially at the beginning of the movie when you're like, they say they're paying him out. And that's also that beginning scene where the guy's paying them out for the fight, and he's like, all right, here's this minus locker fee, minus this fee, minus taxes, He gets like $40 for winning the fight. The other guy gets $17 or something like that. Like it's like it's nothing, and then he's gonna get $100,000 just for showing up. He gets $150,000.
Yeah, they take money out. I wrote it down because it was so really. They take money out for the use of locker room, corner man, shower, towel, and taxes. So if you take your own towel, you get a bit more money. Rocky has a tempestuous relationship with the local gym owner and trainer, Mickey, who is disappointed by Rocky's failure to live up to his potential, because when he takes the locker off him at the beginning, and he gives it a Dipper, is it?
I think so.
And he's like, this guy's a contender, you're a tomato. Or she's like, oh my God. Oh my God, it's the biggest insult I've ever heard. And he says, you have talent, and you work as an enforcer, you're a bum. And, you know, poor old Rocky, who is a boxer who cannot stand up for himself, is like, it's a job, you know? So they're not really friends at this point.
Yep.
He approaches Rocky to be his manager for this fight, and Rocky's all like, the fight's been set. Like, I don't need a manager. You don't get a cut of me making this fight.
Yeah, that's what he thinks, though. He immediately, he just wants a cut of the money or something like that. Like, that's what he's thinking about. That he treated him so shit. Him, right? Yeah.
So Rocky refuses in a very explosive monologue, but he later relents in silence, which I found very interesting.
Oh, such a great scene. Like, he's sitting there, he doesn't say anything there, and even when Mickey like accidentally he leaves and he comes back because he forgot his jacket or whatever, and so Rocky hears the door close and he thinks he's gone, so he comes out of the bathroom and he's still there, and he's like, oh, and he goes back to the bathroom. Like, he doesn't feel confident enough to say this to his face, but the minute he's on and out the door, he starts yelling everything he wants to say to Mickey in that moment. And Mickey, he can hear all of it. He's down the stairs, he can hear almost all of it.
Talk about your pride.
What about my pride, Mick? At least you had a pride. I ain't had no pride. I ain't had nothing. Legs are going, everything is going. No one's getting them nothing. Guy comes up, offers me a fight. Big deal. Want to fight the fight? Yeah, I'll fight the big fight. I wouldn't want to fight that big fight. It was going to happen to me. I want to get that. I want to get that.
That moment when he opens the door and closes it to go back to get his hat, and so Rocky thinks he's left. And Rocky opening that bathroom door and then immediately retreating back into the bathroom is possibly my favorite bit of the film.
Yeah,
it was so brilliantly done. It was just so well handled. It just said everything you needed to know about Rocky. He's so timid and small, and he's just adorable. But what the other thing I loved about that scene was, we're going to go back to it when we talk about Adrian, but there's a point where Adrian shuts herself in her bedroom and Rocky goes up and talks to her through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And it's honest and vulnerable, and he's sort of humiliating himself, it's just this very honest moment. And we have a reflection of that, a mirror moment in this scene when he goes into the bathroom and Mickey, who's all this, bravado, like, I was a boxer and here's my clippings and I did all this stuff and I know I've got years of pain and experience, and then Rocky goes into the bathroom and he just leans up against the door and goes, I'm 76 years old. And I just love that we have these two talking to people through doors and being vulnerable moments. I thought that was very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you think what's Mickey's real motivations in this? Do you think he really wants to help Rocky, or is he just still looking for glory, the glory that he never got in his youth?
I think it's more that than wanting to help Rocky.
Yeah.
And not in a sort of greedy, grasping kind of way, just like this is his last chance.
Yeah.
In the same way, and that's why the monologue that Rocky does, which was apparently improvised, is so fascinating because they both think they're at the end of their own line. Like he's never going to get an opportunity to do this kind of fight again, and Mickey's never going to get the opportunity to manage someone in a fight like this again. So they're both, even though they're different generations, they're both reaching the end of what they think of is this career for them. And so yeah. And I thought I'm going to bring up the locker thing because there's a brilliant moment where Mickey is looking at the poster he's got of Rocky Marciano, is it?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're like him. You got heart. And Rocky goes, I got heart, but I ain't got no locker. Do I, Mick? Like oh my God, that cut him to his core.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that I love Mickey. I think it's a great character. It's a great performance by Burgess Meredith. Because you see him do so many other things, like the elf, like the head elf in Santa Claus and the movie, and but even like things like old Twilight Zone episodes and stuff like that, he's really good in. But he's really good. He does know what he's talking about. He does end up helping Rocky. Like that's what I like about it, is that it is something that Rocky needs. He needs an old guy to yell at.
Yeah, and he does look out for him. He does look out for him towards the end, which we will get to later.
Rocky begins to build a romantic relationship with Adrian Panino. Is her full name Adriana? Really? That's what it says here. A shy woman who's working part-time at the J&M Tropical Fish pet store. Adrian's brother and Rocky's best friend, Paulie, helps Rocky get a date with his sister by lying to both of them. I have issues with Paulie.
I have so many issues with Paulie, and most of them are I love him. He's terrible. He's an awful person. He's great.
Well, I think that he's just a broken person. I think that's what he's meant to be, is just a person who is in no control of his emotions. He is completely impulsive, and he seems to. So we said, and I think the setup between Adrian and Rocky is adorable. Like when he goes into the pet store and he's trying to talk to her, he goes in. He just apparently helps himself to turtle food. He doesn't pay, and he's trying to get it into like. It doesn't seem like she likes him. Is what I'm trying to say. Like he obviously likes her, but it looks like Adrian does not like him. And even the boss go into the back and gets her out of there because it seems like it's an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah.
Did you feel that too? Did you get that sense?
I wrote down, Rocky is a good guy, but he's a bit of a creep.
Yeah. And then
like he stalks this woman. He turns up at her place of work every day to tell her a joke that she doesn't respond to. And he keeps coming back. Just leave her alone. She's not interested.
Yeah, he's very persistent. And so what Paulie does is Paulie invites him over for Thanksgiving dinner. And Rocky says yes. And so on the way, Rocky asks him about 14 times whether or not his sister knows that they're coming, that he's coming. Because I think Rocky knows Paulie. Rocky knows that Paulie maybe might not have told Adrian that he's coming. So they show up, and sure enough, Paulie has not told Adrian that he's coming. And Adrian is shocked, and Paulie's like, and then so Paulie all of a sudden switches gears. So I don't know why he went from come over for Thanksgiving dinner to take my sister out. Now you got to go out with this guy. And she had perfectly good turkey in the oven that he freaking throws outside.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I was so mad at Paulie in that moment after he threw the turkey out. I'm like, what a jerk.
It made no sense. And he's like, hey, take my sister out. And he's, in the meantime, he's like rubbing this turkey leg all over Stallone's very nice leather jacket. Like, stop it!
But that was so weird. And I guess, like, I get the feeling that she is used to it from him. Like, she's a sister. She understands what he's like. But until she comes out, you're right about that scene where he's talking through the door. Like, in that moment, you can tell he's so embarrassed to be talking through the door. He keeps looking at Paulie. Why are you making me do this? Like, why?
Yeah.
You should let me go. Because like Rocky knows that it's just weird that he definitely was not invited and that Paulie's just kind of trying to set all this up. And until she comes out of that room fully dressed and ready to go, I did not think she wanted him to be there at all.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Like she's like, okay, yeah, I want to go out. And then I was like, oh, okay, I guess she does want to go out.
Well, also, I think she probably wants to go out to spite Paulie, even though he wants her to go out. But, you know, she can't sit in that house for the rest of the night with no turkey and her brother who, you know, like, I'd go out.
Yeah.
I'd walk out the door with Rocky and then be like, all right, have a nice night. And then I'd go the other way.
Go do something else.
But yeah.
And their date is also pretty adorable. They go out. So this is where they had you at the ice skating? Is that when you were all...
Oh my God. I was like kicking my little feet and like, I'm so good. I just want to squish them. They're so adorable.
Well, first he has to talk the guy into letting them skate. So $10 for 10 minutes and they get on the ice. It kind of reminded me of Happy Gilmore. Maybe that's what it's a throwback to in Happy Gilmore. There's a moment where Happy Gilmore gets the guy to let them skate. They get on there, but he doesn't put on skates because I don't think he can skate. I think he's not very good at it. He says he hasn't skated since he was 15.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So he's just walking on the ice. But also I went into, as I do, the IMDb trivia.
Yeah.
And they said that they were meant to have 300 extras. It was
Oh.
meant to be a full ice rink, but they couldn't afford them. Which is how we ended up with this scene.
Oh, wow. That is interesting.
And this scene works so brilliantly. Just him talking and talking and talking and talking, and her just not like just walking on her skates and them just doing a few laps of the rink.
You know, like I was saying before on the way over here, you know, fight used to be tossing me, but no more, you know? See, all I wanted to do out of fight was prove I was no bum, that I had the stuff to make a good pro, you know?
You never got the chance?
Oh, hey, you know, I ain't crying about it because I still fight. I kind of do it like a hobby. See, I tell you what the trouble is. You see, I'm a southpaw.
What's a southpaw?
Oh, southpaw means you're left-handed, and southpaw throws your timing off, you see? Other guys throws their timing off, makes them look awkward. Nobody wants to look awkward.
I'd be completely won over by him. He's so it's not enthusiasm, but like he's so invested in things, you know.
Yeah.
And he wants to be a good guy. We see with him with the little girl Marie that he sees her with the gang of boys, and he like forces her home. He like walks her home and gives her this big speech about like you don't want to be that girl, and she takes that very well. And again, like it's a bit creepy, but it comes from such a good place.
Yeah. So what did you think when they get back to his place and she doesn't want to come in? Then he convinces her to come in. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wrote this down. I wrote, I did not like this until the date. All caps. I love the date. Do not trap her like that, Rocky. I've gone off the date. Yeah, I went off the date the minute they hit his house.
Yeah.
And he like, I mean, I did laugh very loudly when he like goes in and then just like the hand comes out and he just like pushes the door. That was adorable. But I wouldn't have gone in. And then he's like, come and sit on my filthy couch.
Covered in garbage and dirty newspaper. He doesn't even take the stuff off the couch. It's like, man, come on. And he takes
like, he walks in and, yeah.
I'm just walking around in my tank top and show my muscles off and stuff. He just, yeah, he kind of, I thought he really creepy, honestly.
His ripped tank top. There's a hole in it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
which is really classy. It's filthy. And then he doesn't let her leave. And I was just like, we're moving into nice guy territory. And I'm just not for this at all. And he does just this ridiculous thing that happens in movies. And he says to her, "Your eyes are so pretty." Yeah, do you know what? Her eyes were pretty when she could see you.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the movie, she does not wear her glasses.
Is that right? Oh, I didn't notice that.
She wears glasses all the time in the pet shop and all the time on that date. So I think they are all the time glasses, like what I wear. You know, it's not reading glasses. I wear glasses permanently. I think she is a permanent glasses wearer. And for the rest of the film, nary a pair of glasses to be seen.
How's she even seeing him at the end when he's all the way across the? She's probably just following his voice when he yells out Adrian. But just
But
I didn't see that.
yeah, and I mean, maybe she's got contacts, but why wasn't she wearing contacts the rest of the time? And yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I hate people taking glasses off as though glasses are not an accessibility thing.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't take someone's walking stick away. Don't take someone's glasses off.
Yeah, they need them. They need those things to see.
Yeah.
What I thought about that scene was that it's a scene that probably played very differently back then and definitely would not play now. You could not put a scene like that in a movie and have him like shut the door and I don't remember if he locks it or not, but it's definitely like, and he's like really, and I guess the idea is trying to put myself in Sylvester's head as he's writing this in 3 days, as he said, which was crazy. Again, didn't take another pass at this one, but he kind of like beats her. He wears her down is basically what he does. He just kind of like, you come on, you want to be with whatever. I don't remember what he says, but he just like, if finally they start kissing eventually, and then she kind of lets go. It's like he had to break through the shyness to get through what she really wanted, right? I think that's what the intention is, but it just looks like he's not respecting any of her boundaries. And so if she's shy, that's okay. It should take him longer to break through, and I think it would be more meaningful if maybe he had a couple more dates and we worked through a couple more things before they kissed. Probably didn't have time for it in the movie, but that should have been done.
Yeah, like it was definitely not enthusiastic consent. And I did read as well on IMDb that apparently she had the flu and she was worried about getting him sick, and that's why she was like, "I'm not gonna really properly kiss you." And then it was like, "Okay, now I'm gonna go. Oh, okay, fine, we are doing this. Fine, I'll kiss you." You know, but still, for whatever reason, it does not come across well.
No, not now. That is and especially since like the next time you see them, they're like together on the couch watching the news, and they're like a couple. It's like a Backdraft 2. They're all of a sudden a couple, and it's like they just, you know, for them to be so shy and so like nervous around each other to just all of a sudden being together is a bit false.
Well, he took her glasses off. You know, she's a different woman now. She's confident. She's beautiful. She's sexy. She's a different gal.
And then from there on, she's just kind of his support. But he does have that nice scene when he tells her later on he can't do it, right? There's a scene where like he's basically, and I thought he meant he can't. I thought he was quitting the fight, even though I know how this movie ends. Like, what do you mean he can't do it? Oh, he can't beat him. That's when he finally realizes that he can't beat him, right? But he just sets his goal. I'm just going to go the distance. I want to go the distance. 15 rounds. That's the maximum amount of rounds you can go in boxing. When they call it, they won't let you fight any more than that, and then they do a decision based on the judges. So that's all he wants to do is go the distance, go the 15 rounds, and he'll be happy. And that's you know.
Yeah, and that's a great scene. And I had to pause it at that point to Google how many rounds you could get in a boxing match, because I thought this is going to be like, they're going to get to the round that's the final round, and I'm not going to understand the importance. It's like when I watch Casino Royale and they show you the poker cards, and I'm like, is that good? Is he stressed? Is he going to I have no idea. So this is never quite there for me, and that kind of. So I had to look it up, and it was 15 rounds. And also, did you notice, because she's moved in with him because Paulie lost his nut at some point. He just did his nut, and she moves in. He gives her the bed. He has got the biggest fight of his life, and he is sleeping on that sofa.
Yeah. Well, he loves it, right? And meanwhile, this is probably around the time, so he starts training for the fight. We get all these iconic scenes of like the things that people know about Rocky, which is like him punching the side of meat, cracking the eggs into the glass, where you're drinking raw eggs. All right, and then
I genuinely gagged.
And then
I had to look away.
I love the contrast between the first time he runs up the steps to the last time he runs up the steps, right? The first time he's like wheezing and holding his side, and he can barely make it up because he is kind of out of shape because he's not really fought at this level before. And then at the very end of the training montage, he's like, that's when you get the iconic like arms in the air. He's just so psyched, so inspiring. I love it. I love that. And the music is amazing as well.
I love the Rocky theme. It's absolutely brilliant. And also him running up the stairs, that's one of the first uses of the Steadicam.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The Steadicam was the guy who invented it when he wanted to show people how it worked. That's where he did his first piece of filming. He filmed his girlfriend running up those steps in Philadelphia.
Oh, very cool.
And then it went off and it was used in a couple of other films, and then they got him back to do Rocky. And so yeah, that was very cool.
It's also during this time that Rocky does his interview on TV where he punches the meat again. And Paulie, now it's funny because the first time he went in there, he's punching and it looked like he hurt his hand. And then Paulie's like, you're breaking the ribs and all this stuff. But then now he like goes in there and does this regularly, and the owner's okay with it somehow. And then Paulie also keeps poking his head, trying to get in on the shot, which is also funny. But then it's starting to notice, like we see again, to contrast that, we see Apollo again planning this big spectacular show and about the media attention and something about Canada. I noticed there's like, there's Canadian something or other. What did he say? I can't remember. I should have made a note of it. And so he's not paying attention. And meanwhile, this guy, his trainer, his manager is watching Rocky punch this side of beef, and it looks intense. Like it is. That is just like, holy crap! This guy's going to do this to you. That's right. That's what this means. And so it's a very and
he tries to get he's like, Apollo, you should come and look at this man. He's like, I don't care about that. Yeah, let's talk about Canadian advertisement.
That's right. That's what Canadian advertising. Yes, he wanted to get a better buy, probably because of the exchange rate. Okay. So, and so then that takes us up to, hey, this is also a New Year's movie. I just realized this as we were watching it. It's kind of a New Year's Christmas movie.
Yeah, it is. It's purely Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then New Year's Day, isn't it?
Yeah, so I have to watch this around next time.
Yeah.
Any of those holidays, you can watch Rocky.
The fight comes around 15 minutes before the end of the film, and Creed makes the entrance to end all entrances, dressed as George Washington. Oh, he would have loved Hamilton.
Yeah, the spotlight.
Am I seeing right back there? Is that the world heavyweight champion?
You know, he's in a boat, riding in a boat. Is he supposed to be George Washington? Obviously so. He's got the hat on, the whole shot. Look at that.
Well, it's been confirmed. The world champion, Apollo Creed, is doing an imitation of George Washington.
He's throwing money.
I don't
remember when we were flying in, we were talking about George Washington and throwing a dollar.
Throwing a dollar. Of course, they threw a dollar in those days and went a lot farther. Now he's taking his right wig came off, the hat came off. And the crowd is loving every minute of it. Look at this. Here is the world heavyweight champion.
Apollo Creed, for you around the world, he was dressed as George Washington, the father of our country.
And when he gets in the ring, he takes the Washington outfit off. Uncle Sam.
Right. And then he puts on the top hat.
Yep. And then he's going, I want you. I want you. I want you.
And the announcers are explaining the reference to people. That was quite fun.
Well, I think they might be commentating for radio.
Oh, okay. Fair
because
enough.
they do say a number of things that give the indication that they say, like, if you're not watching, this is what we're seeing. So I think they're maybe including people who aren't watching on TV. But he comes in, he has the most extraordinary entry. Prior to that, Rocky comes in and barely anyone notices. And it's hilarious. Like, that's not how boxing works now. And I don't know if it's how it worked then. But this whole movie, I was like, why is Rocky not being harassed within an inch of his life from the minute it's announced? Like, it's so weird that the press aren't up in his face at all hours of the day. He doesn't have managers contacting him. He doesn't have anything at all. He just kind of just carries on with his life. It's very odd. And then he walks out into the ring and is like, ladies and gentlemen, here's Rocky Balboa. And like 6 people are like, and everyone else is like, he's not really paying it. And I'm like, this guy is doing something insane. And you're not paying him any attention.
Nobody thinks he's gonna win. Nobody thinks he has a chance. Like, everyone is completely dismissive of him. Even and then I like that in the scene comes in the previous night to check out the arena before everyone comes in there. It's empty, and just the boxing promoter comes in. And I knew about this mistake. You pointed out that scene that was created because they couldn't get extras. This scene, the poster was created wrong. The poster of him saying the boxers, like the red shorts with a white stripe, but it's supposed to be the other way around. And the boxer's like, it doesn't really matter, because that was a genuine mistake someone made in the art department.
Yep.
So they wrote it in, so then they would notice that people would know that.
And that's when I was like, oh, maybe he is a good script writer, because he did that. He also, for people like me, he did that for people like me so that I couldn't go, wait a second, he's ruining my life here. Also, the robe that he wears walking out into the ring is too big for him.
Yep.
That was a wardrobe situation. He started putting lines in about how the robe is too big, so that, again, people like me won't go, his robe looks a bit big. I hate you, Sylvester Stallone.
That's interesting. I didn't notice the robe was too big. I love the advertising on the back of the robe. Paulie came in, put an ad on the back for the meat packing plant. Now, can we clear up something? Did Paulie lose his job, and that's why he was so upset on Christmas?
That's what I didn't understand, because he says, I can't haul meat no more.
Yeah. So what was that all about?
And I thought maybe the owner wasn't okay with Rocky punching his meat. That sounds like a euphemism. It's not a euphemism. Maybe they weren't okay with it, and they found out about, Rocky doing this through the TV spot, and he got sacked. But we know he hates that job. We know he's constantly asking for a job with the guy that Rocky works for. So is he just saying at that point, I can't bear to haul meat anymore? I didn't know.
Yeah.
So either he lost his job, and him getting this sponsorship on the back of the robe was him like getting his job back, or he was just having an existential crisis, which Paulie's having for the entire film.
That's true. And I think you might be right. Like, he said that he gets $3,000 out of it too. Roddy gets and an oversized robe, and then Paul gets $3,000. So it's not bad.
We have a great shot. I love the shot of the microphone coming down from above, and then going back. That's a great moment. And they start not hitting each other.
Yeah.
And I got very confused, because I didn't know if I was meant to think they were landing those hits, because they so obviously weren't landing those hits, and there weren't the necessary sound effects to make me believe that they were landing those punches. So, because every time he went towards Rocky would put his head back, and I was like, oh, because of what the commentators are saying, is that meant to be him recoiling from the punch? Because I just thought he was getting out of the way and being nimble.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit lost.
Yeah, it's true. I don't know. That for the opening parts of the fight is just like them kind of testing each other out a bit, I guess, is what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know if they're meant to be real punches or not.
Yeah. But all the way through, like, at no point did I know which, like, unless they're like in the body and you can really see it.
Yeah.
I didn't know which ones we were meant to know had hit and which ones I was a little bit confused. But Rocky knocks Creed down in
right
the
away,
first round.
Yeah, that was
and
great.
He has never been knocked down before, and that's a really big deal. Yeah. And something interesting happens, which I was educated about, because it was like a people thought it was a goof, but it's not. He's down on that mat for quite a while. So you kind of think, oh, he's done. He's out. But Rocky does not go back to the neutral corner. And the referee won't start counting
Who
until the other fighter is in. So if Rocky had walked back immediately to his corner, he might have won.
That's interesting.
So people kind of think that they've got that wrong because they give him too long to get up. But because Rocky holds off on going back to his corner, he gives him the time to recover.
Rocky's just so excited he landed the punch. Like Rocky, the entire time, like as soon as he comes in there, he is having a great time. Like there's a few people who support him. They're like, hey, he's like, hey, things are coming out, hey, and he's just like, he's talking to Mickey, he's making jokes, he's like, look at that thing and look at this thing. He's kind of like just taking the whole experience in, right? He's just so thrilled to be there. But when he lands that punch, he's like, oh, okay, now I'm in this. Now I could be. That gives him the confidence. And after that, not even that. After that, because it takes a little bit longer for Creed to realize that it's a real fight, right? He's still going on and showboating a bit after that. But then his manager talks him into saying, hey, it's not a show for him, it's a fight, right? Put into it and start fighting. And then they go on, they just keep fighting, and that's when we see like the montage of the rounds going by, and that woman painted to look like the Statue of Liberty, which is probably painful to take off, I'm sure.
It's so, can I just say, that is so weird. Creed keeps referring to it as America's biggest birthday. And he comes out as Uncle Sam, and he comes out as George Washington, and there's the Statue of Liberty. What are all of those things? What do all of those things sort of make you think of, other than like the First World War? The 4th of July.
Yes.
Why is this happening on New Year's Day?
There was at some point early on, they talked about them. They said it was America's most celebrated day of the year or something like that. Yeah. There was a phrasing like that in that. I'm like, well, that's the 4th of July. The 4th of July is the most celebrated day of the year, not New Year's Day. So that is,
very weird. It's a very weird idea. But yes, they
on July 4th, right?
Yeah. But he does last the 15 rounds.
Yeah, and you can see at the point where it becomes like they're like, don't stop the fight, they're like, we're gonna stop, don't, and they're both saying it, don't stop, but they're both like, they want to keep going. They got to figure out, because they realize that they're so evenly matched that they have to know who's better.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, he's like, there's not gonna be a rematch. He's like, I don't want one, because we are like, they just realize like we are the same. We're the same. We've just gone with each other.
And Apollo Creed has like 20 pounds on him. So, but yeah, so the other thing that happens very near the beginning of the fight is Rocky's nose gets broken. Right. And he is so proud of the fact that his nose has never been broken. That comes up a lot. He's showing off to Adrian about it. See this nose? Oh yeah. It's like, it's so important. And then he gets in a fight. He gets into a ring with the heavyweight champion, and boom, his nose is broken. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And Mickey's coming. It's an improvement. So
yeah. And Mickey, this is the thing where I say Mickey was looking out for him at the end. At the end, he gets knocked down, and Mickey's going, stay down.
Right.
Stay down. And he won't do it. And in the meantime, he has broken Apollo Creed's ribs, and he is bleeding internally. And so his trainer is going like, I'm calling it. And I think it's Rocky who says to Mickey, if you stop this fight, I will kill you.
Yeah.
So yeah, they really, I mean, Rocky has his own reasons, but to get to the end of it. But the fact that he's dragged Apollo through the mud to get there is fantastic.
Creed just can't imagine losing to this guy. He's like, oh shit, there's a chance I could lose to this guy. I cannot do that. This is like supposed to be just for fun and just kind of a little like light match or whatever, and it's becoming this battle. It's interesting to me that this, and I'm not a boxing fan generally. I don't watch boxing, or even I'm not even drawn to boxing movies, but it's just about the two of them just putting their all into it no matter what, and just fighting beyond, like pushing their bodies to the limit, I guess, beyond.
Yeah. And I mean, for a boxing movie, there is very little boxing in this movie.
Yeah.
So it's great. It's just people doing people things.
Yeah.
And then with a bit of boxing at the end.
Rocky, you went the distance. You went the 15 rounds. How do you feel?
All right, fella.
What are you thinking about when that buzzer sounds for that line? What do you think about when the 15th round, when you're coming out?
Rocky. Rocky.
Your attention, please.
Rocky.
Tonight,
Rocky.
we have had the privilege of witnessing the great
And that I think might be the biggest misconception about Rocky. I don't know if people realize that he does not win the match in the end. It is a decision. They go the 15 rounds. It is a decision, and they find Apollo to be the winner based on points or whatever. I don't know how they've met.
It's a split decision, so I suppose it's like who has the most judges. Like, I don't know how it works.
So it's like, yeah, reporters are in his face, ask them questions. He's just like, Adrian. He just wants Adrian. And Adrian finally comes out. Like, she's been in the dressing room the entire time. She somehow senses that the end of the match is coming. Maybe because she hears the crowd. I think there's a part where she can kind of hear the crowd, and maybe she's just.
And she does come out and, like, you know, she's got her face turned away because they are still fighting. And even though she probably can't see 5 feet in front of her face, she knows what's happening, you know.
Then he calls her and he's like, get out of my face. So the reporter calls Adrian, and Adrian comes over and he's like, I love you. That's when they say I love you for the first time, is right after the match.
Yeah.
Right? Very, very.
So this is the thing, Dan. You say Rocky doesn't win, but doesn't he?
Well, he wins in love.
He wins in life. I was so, like, it finished. It ended. They were hugging. They were saying I love you. It ended. And I went, what a weird film. Like, just because that ending was so bizarre. It was all kind of building up to this fight, but then it also kind of wasn't. It was just him living his life and Paulie desperately trying to live his. and then they had a fight, and then nobody seemed to care who won. Like, they'd been through 15 rounds of trying to kill each other, and nobody cared. And they go, oh, Apollo's the winner. And they raise his hand, and none of the press is all in there. They're not all interviewing. Like, it's very weird. He doesn't care. He's shouting for Adrian. His girlfriend comes up, and then they tell each other that they love each other. End of movie. Like, what?
So they're not, I guess, I'm noticing a similarity between this film and the last movie we watched, The Poseidon Adventure, which ends very abruptly as soon as they get into the helicopter and fly off. Because I don't think they liked the, like, what they call falling action or the denouement, whatever the thing is at the end, whether you have a little bit of like the wrap up, you know, like how Lord of the Rings has 3 endings at the end for sure. Well, that's a little too much, but at least one ending would be nice. At least one little, like, here's where everybody is at the end of this. They just didn't do that in the 70s. They're like, no, boom, cut it off right after the climax. Cut it off. This is the end. Freeze frame on Rocky's face. And that's the end of the movie.
Yeah. I was just surprised that it turned out that was the point of the film.
Oh.
Like, the point of the film wasn't the boxing. The point of the film was the love story. And I was like, oh, I didn't really pick up on that. You know?
I think it's both. I think it's the point of the film is both. It's about Rocky, and he wants to love. He clearly wants to love, but he also wants to be as best a boxer as he can, right? So
yeah,
both things, and he achieves both goals in the end. He never goes, like, again, until that point. Like, for a while there, I think he thinks he can win because Mickey's building them up, and he's getting them all like pumped up for the fight. So I think there's a little while there, but until he goes and like looks at the big empty stadium, he doesn't realize, like, oh no, I'm kind of out of my league. But he does what he set out to do. He went to 15 rounds. That's all he wanted, and that is that's the takeaway. Just you can always achieve your dreams,
and good for him.
Yeah.
There's one thing I wanted to say, and you mentioned him earlier, the driver for Grazzo. Yeah. He is awful. He uses a word that is horrifying, and he calls Adrian the R word repeatedly. Right. That's not good. But every time Rocky falls for it, every time the driver goes, "Hey, Rocky," and Rocky goes, "What?" And he says something horrible to him. Yeah. And so they have this whole conversation about Adrian being the R word and him sticking up there like she's shy, and they're getting into it with each other and, you know, trying to punch each other across the car and stuff. And then he's like cooling down and he's taking notes from Grazzo or whatever he's doing, and then the driver goes, "Hey, Rocky," and he goes, what, like, not even like what, it's genuinely like, yeah.
He's forgotten about everything that's come before. Yeah, he's a blank slate.
He's so stupid.
Hey, Rob.
What?
Number
what I told you.
What'd you tell me?
Take it to the zoo.
I love his reading glasses when he's taking notes. He goes, oh, okay, I gotta pick up, let's say, $200 for this guy, and he's like got his glasses out. He's hilarious seeing this tough guy with his little reading glasses.
The first, like, because he goes over and he doesn't break the guy's thumbs, and then the mobster guy is like, "Oh, you didn't break his thumbs," and then he goes, "Okay, well now you're gonna go and see Del Rio," and he's like got his little note about that, and he goes, "How do you spell Del Rio?" Like, that doesn't matter. You're gonna go and punch him in the face. Why would it matter? But he's so cute. Also, the other thing that gets so she loses her glasses. He also loses his dog. Where does Butkus go?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I was
Do you know that's actually his dog?
Oh, is it really?
Sylvester Stallone's dog. He was at the point when he was trying to sell this film. I read somewhere that he had like $106 in his bank account, and he was looking to sell his dog.
Oh wow!
He didn't, and Butkus got a sort of co-starring role. Except she was like, "Hey, I've brought him for you," and he's like, "Great, I'll take him on my runs." And then he takes him on one run, and then we never see him again. He's not in the apartment. Where does he go?
I don't know. I hopefully he got out of the cage because I hated that he was in that cage the entire time. It's just the worst place to keep a dog.
Yeah.
Like the dog that size is a huge dog. All right. So what do you think? What's your rating for Rocky?
I gave it 3.5.
Okay. That's fair.
It's very close to a 4, but there was just one too many things about it that made me not quite. It's a 3.75, but you can't do that.
No, you can't. I would give it a 4. I think it's a great film. I think it's very well structured. If you look at like how it plays out, the first half hour introduces the characters, then we get Apollo Creed and the fight set up. Then he starts that. Then it kind of develops from there into both the training and then his relationship with Adrian. We get about a half hour of training, and then the final half hour is dedicated to the end of the fight and the end. So it's very well structured, and it's a simple story. I like that it's a simple story, and he doesn't get too crazy. It does get kind of crazy after this, though. They went big for some of the sequels.
Yes. Now that is the other thing, is that at the end of the film, I did not immediately go, "Oh, I want to see more Rocky movies."
Oh, okay.
I was like, "Oh, he's a nice guy," and that was fun to spend 2 hours with him. But I did not care about, I know he's like this big iconic character, but I didn't care about him enough to sort of immediately think, "Oh, great, there's more Rocky movies."
Do you care about Paulie enough to keep watching Rocky movies?
Is Paulie in other Rocky movies? Because maybe I would.
They all came back. Everyone came back for all the sequels, as far as I know. I don't know how long Burgess Meredith was around, but yeah, he does come back. There's some fairly silly moments with Paulie, as far as I remember. I do want to watch the rest of them, and I probably will at some point in the next little while. Probably not right away, but I'm going to make a TikTok video about this, and then I'll maybe start a little series for Rocky movies that I'll continue at some point, because my favorite Rocky movie is Rocky 4, which is the one with Dolph Lundgren as the Russian. It's really about the Cold War. It's about America versus Russia, and he goes to Russia. It's the best training montage because he does it in the middle of a Russian winter with logs and like just things around him. So it's awesome. I love it so much.
Is there more boxing in the other movies?
Yeah. Because he becomes a legitimate after this. He doesn't win this fight, but then he becomes, because of all the attention, he becomes like a contender and part of the professional circuit. And so he starts fighting bigger rounds, and they do fight again. Maybe the end of the second one is, I don't remember actually. Now again, I'm mixing them all up in my head. At some point, Mr. T shows up, and so and also Hulk Hogan. So this is just the 80s. It's the 80s at this point, right?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and I've seen it. Like I said, I've seen Creed, so I've seen the Michael B. Jordan one, but now I know who Rocky is. I kind of want to watch Creed again.
Yeah,
because I like that. It was a great film. So I'd like to see that again now, to see where Rocky started and where he sort of ended up.
Yeah.
Good. So that would be interesting. Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So what should we watch next then? That is the big question. The one I've had on my mind that I've never seen that I would really like to see is A Few Good Men.
Okay.
So are you up for watching A Few Good Men?
Yeah, absolutely. I love A Few Good Men. It's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one in I want to say a couple of years, maybe. Of course, it's a Rob Reiner movie, and we recently lost him very sadly. And yeah, it's a good time to look back on his films and really celebrate the kind of director he was. And that'll be fun to talk about. I think I've heard a lot of fun stories about A Few Good Men. I think we can probably find and share about this. But yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's one I don't know. Is it You Can't Handle the Truth?
That is the one.
Is the end of my knowledge.
Well,
yeah.
Back when Tom Cruise could do different things, it's like he's showing his range a bit. Although he's still Tom Cruise, but he's like, I don't know. At some point, he just gave up trying. When he started doing just Mission Impossible movies and stopped doing anything else, that's when he kind of stopped trying. This is back when he's trying. I think he was still trying to win an Oscar at this point. So he's great, and the cast has got so many great actors like Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, Kevin Pollak. Look at all this stuff. Just pulling all this stuff out of thin air. I know all this stuff about A Few Good Men. Would I own A Few Good Men? Would I own it? I do not think I do. No, I do not own A Few Good Men.
Well, neither do I. So we can both rent it from somewhere and discuss it next week.
That sounds good.
Brilliant. All right, well, this has been a joy, and I will speak to you then.
Okay. Bye.